Central Oregon Autism Moms Podcast. I'm Kate. Let's spend some time together. Welcome to the 6th episode of the Central Oregon Autism Moms Podcast, a podcast for all the female caregivers of children on the spectrum. It seems the weather has turned, which I personally enjoy, being a fan of the rain. I stood on my porch last night just to listen and to touch the rain as it came off the roof. It was just so calming and soothing. I have a dirty little secret. I used to be a cigarette smoker. I know, horrible habit. But standing outside made me realize that I don't take those little breaks outside anymore. That's not to say I miss smoking, because I so don't. But I think everyone can use little 5-minute breaks in their day. I think every parent, and especially parents of children on the spectrum, can have those rough days when things just aren't going the way they need to and the hill seems much too steep. In those moments, don't forget to step back and take a couple minutes, even if it's just long enough to take a sip of the coffee that's been sitting on the counter so long it got cold. And don't forget the support system we have. There's the Central Oregon Autism Moms group on Facebook, the Autism Support Group, and all the other outlets we have in Central Oregon. And they're here for us. For you. They're here when you need to vent, when you need to celebrate a victory, when you need a friend. So please, don't ever feel guilty for having to call upon each other for help and guidance. You'll hear in an interview in a few minutes about how we are all in the same forest, but on different hiking trails, which is so true. If we give each other the pieces of the map that we have, we can help each other get through. So get connected and speak up. We're here to support and love each other. Speaking of support, today I have a special twofer for you. I have an interview with both Meredith Skorheim and Melissa Romo, 2 of the 3 Central Oregon chapter reps for the Autism Society of Oregon, Jeanette Rivas being the 3rd. These 2 ladies have a great deal to share with advice, resources, and events. First up is Meredith, who graciously invited me into her home and made the most delicious muffins. If you ever get a chance to taste her cooking, you should do it. She's just amazing. Alright, so I'm sitting here with Meredith Skorheim, who's one of our chapter reps for the Autism Society of Oregon. So can you tell us a little about yourself and your journey with the spectrum?
So as far as our family, it's me and my husband, and we have a almost 16-year-old daughter, and then Liam, who is almost 12. He's our son that's on the spectrum. He was diagnosed, we got the actual kind of diagnosis right after his 3rd birthday. And he probably developed pretty normally until about his 2nd birthday, and then that winter he had a lot of unexplained fevers. He started walking on his toes. He started getting upset when fire engines went by the house or ambulances, any sirens. He would come into wherever I was and hold his ears and cover his ears. So went to the pediatrician and said we had these issues, and then she referred us for an ASD, evaluation through high desert ESD. So did that. By the time all that gets done, they come to your house and all that stuff. And then you go there and they see them so many different types. It probably took us a couple months to actually get the diagnosis. And then once he did get it, right away, about a week later, he started at Stepping Stones preschool, which then was up at Summit High School. I don't think it's there anymore. I think it's at Alice Hatch now. Yeah. So, and he did pretty well. As soon as we got him started, his language started to come back. A lot of pointing, a lot of colors. If he wanted something, he would point to it, tell us the color that he wanted, whatever color it was. So it was a guessing game in the beginning, but he got his language back, and he has a lot of sensory problems, and they're constantly changing. So that's a challenge with him. And he developed pretty good. I mean, we thought we were doing pretty well. We thought we were going to be able to mainstream him, actually. And then 3rd grade hit, and everything changed. We started seeing aggressive behaviors. His anxiety went through the roof. OCD. a lot of wall brushing, which was driving everybody crazy because that noise. So there was just a lot of changes. He could not be in his regular classroom anymore. It was just too much for him. So we did the neurologist, possible seizures. We did play therapy. So now we see a psychiatrist. He's on medication, which I was always anti-medication. But let me tell you, when it gets to that point and they're on the medication for, specific things and stuff, it can work. It does work. So that's pretty much our journey right now. Our biggest challenges are his anxiety and his OCD. Sensory is always ever changing, but he's pretty good at kind of figuring out what he needs sensory wise. We have trampoline, and we have last night he put up the trapeze bar for the first time in a long time, so he kind of does his own, therapy balls that he bounces on, kind of does his own thing as far as sensory stuff goes, what he needs. But yeah, so that's our journey so far. Started middle school, which has actually been really good. We're really happy right now with the way things are going, really trying to push him more towards being responsible for himself and more independent things. So I think that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. So you were able to host the first Central Oregon Autism Moms get-together in June. Mm-hmm. What about hosting that event did you enjoy the most?
I think just bringing everybody together in more of a relaxed environment. We still sat around and talked about our kids, which, that's what we do at the support groups, but maybe here we did it with a glass of wine in our hand. So maybe a little more relaxed. Maybe people could be a little more open about some things. They didn't feel that kind of being at a support group setting and stuff like that, maybe. And then I just like to host things, so I had a lot of food.
And if someone was toying with the idea of maybe hosting, but they're maybe nervous about it or not sure what it's like, could you maybe give them some insight and some encouragement?
I just do what you can. And if you want, I didn't have people bring food just because it was the first one, and Michelle and I wanted it to kind of be, a big thing. But if you need help, if you just want to supply the house, we can bring the food. We can bring, do what you can do. It's not a big deal. All of the parents, all the moms that are in the group, know that you have a kid with ASD. They know what it's like, If you have therapy balls around your house, they know that. They get that. So it's not a big deal. Your house doesn't have to be, spectacular. It doesn't have to be, food doesn't have to be. We can do it however we want to do it. It's just supposed to be a fun time, for moms to get together and talk, but in a more relaxed setting.
So I had mentioned in the beginning that you're a chapter rep for ASO. For those who may not know, can you tell us a little more about the Autism Society of Oregon?
So Autism Society is Oregon, based out of Portland, but they are statewide, and it's all broken down into different regions. Our region is actually pretty big. It includes kind of spread out communities. Harney County, it includes the Jefferson County Deschutes. There's a couple other, it includes the Warm Springs tribe. But we're not really out in those communities right now, just because we don't really have any contacts there right now. But we're trying. But so basically, it's just it's kind of probably mostly parents that want to help connect other parents to resources and make sure people are getting the services and resources they need and are legally entitled to, I guess I should say. With the new autism insurance reform bill that just got passed. But now the new thing is debating whether OHP is going to pay for ABA therapy. So now that's kind of their new fight. They'll fight in the legislation. They have a voice there, in the school systems. They have voices. They can help parents out where they need to be.
How did you get involved in the ASO?
So kind of been, when Liam was first diagnosed, there was a support group here, and it's kind of come and gone out through the years. And then Michelle Harper, kind of got us back going, got the community back together, and she was part of the ASO. And then last, I think, spring maybe, I told Michelle, okay, I'm ready. I've got some time. My kids are old enough, kind of being more independent. I mean, I'm still busy taking them places and doing things, but I've got some time and I'm ready to kind of get involved in the community and help other parents. Because when Liam, third grade hit and we kind of went through that crisis mode, I was kind of lost. I didn't know where to go, who to contact. I mean, I was calling around, making contacts and making phone calls and stuff, but it was hard. So I don't want other parents to go through that, so to speak.
Exactly.
So that's why I got involved.
So if someone else is in that position and they're feeling like they're ready,
Right.
How would they get involved with the ASO?
Well, you can go on the website, and there is I believe it's under the supports tab. If you go down, there is a thing where you can sign up to volunteer. And so if you fill out that information, they can connect you with your local person. But you could come, talk to me, talk to Jeanette or Melissa, and we can get you in contact with Toby, who is the president of the ASO, and, see what's out there. They're always looking for, the more people in the community, the better. The bigger voice we have in the community, the better. So I think people want to get involved, more the merrier.
So what services are out there for parents with children on the spectrum and that are struggling that parents might not know about?
The biggest thing that when we were kind of moving along at a good pace, I didn't think it was a big deal. But when we hit that crisis mode, so getting a case manager through DHS, that's a big deal. Nobody told me about that, to be honest with you. Like, I was never told you should have a case manager through Deschutes County. They have a lot of services that they can connect you with. They have a crisis thing. If you're in crisis with your family, they can connect you with. They can connect you with, they can help you get equipment for your home. They can, they can do a lot. And they have, the money is always going to depend on what family, what money they can help you with. But that's probably the biggest one that I was unaware of until I needed it. Until I got in that crisis mode was. And there is, you have to go through intake, and they give you forms to, like little, evaluation forms to fill out about your child. And your child does have to score below a certain thing to qualify. I think it was 72 or something. And my son just barely qualified. But they were a big help. They actually had Dr. Keebler, who is an autism behavior specialist. He actually came to our house and helped us develop a behavior plan for Liam that we also then took into the school system. It was kind of a simple 3-step when we can see him escalating. Can we, redirect? Can we stop and take a deep breath? Can we, it was a simple thing, but just having that other person come in from the outside and help you do that was huge for us, because as parents we could sit back and take it from a different view.
Absolutely. So how would someone maybe start that process of getting a case manager?
So if you go to the Deschutes County website, and then they have a developmental disability program that you could click under, or they also have mental health, depending on what you need. But if you click under developmental, and there's a thing that says intake right there, and you click on that, it'll give you the person's phone number. I don't know if it's the same people that were there. And then they'll set up a meeting, you go in there, and they'll give you the forms to fill out. They'll probably have, if your child's in school, they'll also have some of the teachers fill out evaluation forms. And maybe something from your pediatrician. I think my pediatrician signed something. And then, if your kid qualifies, they'll assign you a case manager, and case manager will come to your house, and they develop yearly plans with you, things you might need, any issues you might need help with, things that are going well. They'll set goals for the year. Like for our son, we're trying to get more independent stuff, so last year part of it was he's gluten-free, so teaching him how to do his own gluten-free stuff. Doing his own laundry, showering, all that independent stuff that as a parent you want to coddle your baby, but they need to learn that stuff. So another resource that I recently just found out about, especially for people that have concerns about their kids, there's a website that you can go to. It's ASQ, And basically, it's almost like a little questionnaire you fill out about, it's not even questionnaire, it's like multiple choice. So if you have concerns about your kids, and then based on the results, they'll tell you whether, you should take your kid in to get evaluated, or things to watch for potentially in the future that may be signs, stuff like that. But I just recently found out about it. You just go online, I think it's asq.com, maybe you Google ASQ. So if people are having concerns, they don't know whether to even get their kid evaluated, that's a good resource to fill.
So what is one misconception about autism that you most advocate against?
I think the biggest thing is what our kids are capable of. I think they're capable of a lot more than people give them credit for. I think they do need to be challenged. There is definitely that fine line. I know it with my son. But I think they do need to be challenged, and I think the schools need to kind of challenge that. I feel like my son they were a little intimidated by my son, and he knew it, and he used it to his advantage. And he probably could have done a lot more at school than he did, especially last year. So I think that's a big one. And then I know Jeanette talked about taking people out into the community, taking the kids out in the community. We take our son out a lot. And I always say, we always say we don't want people to judge our kids, but and I've done it myself, judged other people, like my son's drum instructor. When we signed him up, I was like, this isn't going to go well. It's been awesome. Waitresses, they went out to eat. My son went out to eat with his grandparents, and, here you will tell the waiter 5,000 times, do not put green stuff on his pizza, and the waiter will write it down on the pad, show it to him, make special requests, and but at the end of the meal, the wait staff is usually like, he's a great kid. So I mean, I think taking your kid out and giving the community a chance to really see what your kid is capable of, I think is a great thing.
How has your family's journey on the spectrum changed your life for the better?
I think we're better parents, to be honest with you. I think we're more involved. My patience level, like I could not imagine having as much patience. And a lot of people comment that you're so patient. How do you do that? But so that's really good. I think just being more of a family unit. We're not, we pretty much sit down every night and have dinner. We make an effort to do that and talk about the day, not only to engage Liam in conversation, but also, to make that link in the family and stuff. And in some ways, I think, too, that it's helped, my daughter be more aware and compassionate and of the other kids out there. And I know at school she's stuck up for some ASD kids stuff. So, yeah. So I think it's actually been pretty positive, and I don't know that I would change it if I could, to be honest.
So if you could offer advice to a family who's just starting their journey, what would it be?
I think the biggest advice is, there's kind of two big ones. A, get connected and stay connected, because you never know what services you're going to need down the road. And on the ASO website, there's actually, under the newly diagnosed, there's the 100-day kit and kind of a plan of action that can help with that. So I think that's really great, because I kind of wish I had that way back, 9 years ago. And then the other thing is, do what's right for your family and your kid. We're all in the same forest, but we're all on different hiking trails. Every kid is so different. I know kind of when Liam was diagnosed, other families could afford more therapies and stuff, and that was kind of hard for us. But eventually I realized, what, I gotta focus on what we can do, what we're capable of doing, and that's it. So, and not really worry about what everybody tells you should be doing. Do what's right for your family.
So are there any events coming up?
I know Jeanette talked about the sensory-friendly movie thing. Melissa's kind of taken over organizing the walkathon. I think we're shooting for the first weekend in April, I believe. I want to say April 5th, but don't quote me on that, which you did. So I think she's kind of taking over on that. We're gonna help. We're really gonna try and get that started. Toby with the ASO kind of wants almost one to go on every month in April throughout the state. So I know there's at least 2 other ones set up. They're trying not to overlap them. So if people want to go to the other areas and go to that walkathon, they can. And other than that, we're going to try and set up an October Mom's Night. Last night, actually, just got started on Facebook talking about doing the art walk in Bend, First Friday Art Walk. Just a bunch of moms getting together, walking around, doing that downtown, so that would be fun.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to sit down and talk with us. And your muffins were amazing, as always. And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
And here's the interview with Melissa Romo, which was done at Amanda's house, who hosted the get-together this month and did an excellent job. Melissa has some exciting news on events that are coming up. So tell me a little about yourself and your journey with the spectrum.
I only have one child. I'm a stay-at-home mom. It has been a long and challenging road living with a child on the spectrum and learning the best ways to help my son be all he can be.
You're one of the chapter reps for the ASO for Central Oregon. How did you get involved with the Autism Society of Oregon?
A friend first told me about ASO 4 years ago. Anyone who wants to get involved can visit the website at autismsocietyoregon.org. From there, a person can navigate the region and they live in and find local services, contact names, numbers, and announcements.
So, if someone wanted to get involved with the mission of the ASO, how would they do that?
Just contact a local representative and they can guide you in that direction.
What services are out there for parents who are struggling that they might not know about?
The only thing I can really know is today's economy has made it very tough to keep helpful programs going. And I do know that the Take a Break program offers respite and movie cards and dinner for families as well as gas cards.
What is one misconception about autism that you most advocate against?
Just because a person on the spectrum may not answer you or answer back with an influent response doesn't mean they don't hear you. And inappropriate behavior in my child on the spectrum is not the cause of lack of discipline by the parent.
How has your family's journey on the spectrum changed your life for the better?
I appreciate things that sometimes are taken for granted overlooked in other children. For example, my mom and I were shopping recently and my son said, "This is boring." We stopped in our tracks and looked at each other with surprise. It was so cool because it was so age appropriate for him to be able to say that.
If you could offer advice to a family who's just starting their journey, what would it be?
Don't deny the need for special services. Early intervention is very important. Get help. Don't try and do it alone. The support of sharing other people with a child on the spectrum is so important.
Are there any events coming up that people should know about?
Yes, there is the Parents' Day Out event, which is December the 7th, 2013, from 10 to 3:30 at Highland Baptist Church, sponsored with the Autism Society of Oregon. There's also going to be a walk-a-thon for the Autism Society of Oregon that will be April the 5th, 2014. More information to come. We'll be needing volunteers. You can email me for more information.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. Events, activities, and support groups going on in Central Oregon. Paul's Club, a support group for the male caregivers of children with a disability, will be on October 3rd at 6 p.m. at Abby's Pizza in Bend. A bunch of us moms are getting together October 4th for the First Friday Art Walk at 6:30 p.m. You can check out the event on the Autism Moms Facebook page. The Redmond Cross Disability Support Group will be October 7th at 6 p.m. at the Manzanita Building. Childcare is provided free of charge. Our next get-together will be in Bend at my house on October 13th at 2 p.m. punch, finger foods, and great conversation will be provided. RSVP for the event on the Autism Moms Facebook page, the Ben Cross Disability Support Group, the Latino Cross Disability Support Group, and Sibs Connect will be October 22nd at 6 p.m. at Abilitry, with childcare provided free of charge. And there is talk of getting together and taking the kiddos to the Central Oregon Pumpkin Company at Smith Rock Ranch this month. If you're interested, let us know. Speaking of events and activities, do you have any ideas? Is there maybe an event you've been dying to see happen? Or maybe you know of resources that are available in other areas that you'd like to see happen here? Contact any of the Autism Society of Oregon chapter reps, or talk about it on one of the Facebook pages. I hear the powers that be are always looking for new events to get us together, new ideas for family fun, or ways to make our community better. What do you want to see in Central Oregon? Well, this about wraps up the 6th episode of the Central Oregon Autism Moms podcast. I want to again thank Meredith and Melissa for taking the time to speak with me. Along with Jeanette, they are becoming real warriors and leaders, helping bring events, activities, and resources to Central Oregon. I'm Kate. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And don't forget to take some time for you. I'm sure you recognize it by now, but the music for this podcast was I Wanna Holler But the Town's Too Small by the Detroit Cobras, brought to us thanks to the freemusicarchive.com.